is Mr. Brian. I'm of Cameroonian nationality, currently based in India. And I would like to testify of the goodness, the love, mercies, and the grace of God upon my life. About 5 months ago, I had a terrible car accident that almost cost my life. And God saved me. It's been just quite an experience. I never thought I was going to find myself in such a position, but no one pays for these things. They happen. On that day, I think it was the 18th of October, I had left my house with a friend's vehicle to follow up with the program I had for the day. So I had finished up with everything and I decided to retire to my friend's place so I could return the car. On my way there, I noticed the fuel gauge was signaling that the fuel was almost done, and I thought it wise that it would be good that I put some fuel in the car before I did return it to him. So I stopped by a nearby petrol station. I put the fuel, but I noticed that the gauge didn't increase. It was still left like 2 points. So I said maybe it could be some technical fault or something. Let me just drive for like a few minutes. Maybe it's going to reflect. After driving for, I think, for almost 1 kilometer, I reached like a final roundabout, which was just like 500 meters away from my friend's place. So I said, if I really drop this car like this, I'm not sure that guy will find it funny. So I decided to go back to the petrol station and add more fuel into the car. So I took the roundabout, and on my way back, actually the road was quite empty. No one was on the way, no one was on the road. I was there, the only person on that road. And as I was driving, my two hands were on the steering. This is not something that I would say I was speeding or I was a little bit distracted. My head was pretty clear. My focus was just getting back to the petrol station, putting fuel in there in the car and getting back to my friend's place because it was getting late. I think it was like 5:30 p.m. or so. So while I was driving, I think I was like on 50 kilometers per hour, like I said. While I was driving, I reached I think like let's say about 50 meters away from the roundabout. I felt like there was a force pulling the steering wheel to the left. It was just so sudden, like it's not something I was expecting. It was just so sudden that I lost control, so I was trying to regain control of the car. And since I was alone on the highway, moving towards the other side, because in India they have like a right hand driving. So to go on the other side, it was quite far. The road is quite big, so I thought to go this way and find a place where I could stop the car. It wasn't going to be easy. I was like really close to the divider of the road, so I felt like if I hit the car on the divider, it was going to come like to a standstill. Oh boy, was I wrong. I was really wrong. But immediately as I hit the car on impact with the divider, I felt like some great force. It was almost like a punch here. It was almost like a punch here on my jaw here. And immediately that happened, immediately I felt that punch. Immediately I felt that punch, I saw myself outside of this body, outside of my body. It was where I found myself, like, I don't even know how to put it. Everywhere was just dark, Everywhere was just dark, and the only thing I could see, and the only thing I was looking at, it was myself inside the car on impact. And the car rolled over. On hitting the divider, the car, instead of the car tumbling over the divider, the car hit the divider and turned and rolled over on the other side, like 8 times, 5 to 8 times. So that happened, and I was like, God, what is happening? Like, is this it? Like it was just like a shock, like, because everything happened and I wasn't like witnessing this like myself. It was almost like another version of me, or another like a spirit, I was witnessing this outside the body. I was like, God, is this real? Like, did this just really happen? Did I really just die, or what just happened? So I was like, nah, it's not possible. That this cannot be possible. Not right now. Not now. I was like, it's not now. That I can't go now. It's not possible. All sort of things passed through. I don't know how to put it, but I don't know if it was my mind, my consciousness, or whatever. But I've only had that experience one other time. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. I've always prayed, I've always wanted to experience myself outside this body, and it's happened to me twice. The second time being the accident. While watching myself in the car, while the car rolled over, I don't know what brought me back exactly, but it was more like a movie for me, I saw like some fumes. Actually, I could see the fumes like floating in the air until they got into my nose while I was in the car. When that happened, I was no longer outside the body, but then like the consciousness returned to the body. Then I woke up and realized, like, I thought I was blind at that time because I couldn't see anything. The car was dark and covered with so much smoke, like, and I felt like something had entered my eyes, like it was itching at the moment, but I wasn't sure what it is. But I couldn't see, like I was totally blacked out, like I couldn't see anything. So I struggled. I just started moving my hand all over my body, searching for where the seat belt was so I could take it off. I took off the seat belt, then I started searching around the car to see if I could locate the door knob so I could open the door. Once I did that, once I stretched my hand, immediately I stretched my hand to search for the door. It got to the door knob where I just opened the door. Once that happened, I fell out of the car. The car was like had tumbled upside down, so it was like that. So I fell out of the car and I was lying there on the road. People started rushing all over and coming. I was in so much pain, so much pain. I was in so much pain and in disbelief that I had just had like this accident. I didn't even know, I was in so much pain. I could really feel myself like just fading away. The energy was fading, the strength was fading, and the will as well was fading. Lying down there, people were watching. When those people came, they carried me and put me by the side of the road. And some people called the ambulance. So while lying down there, I was just thinking about what is going on. I was in total disbelief and I kept on saying, God, there's nothing more that I can do for myself at this moment. But I'm counting on you to save me from this. So it happened that the local police around the area got notified of the accident and they quickly rushed over there. And one of the policemen, Ravi, his name is Mr. Ravi, he got an auto. An auto is a rickshaw, it's a mode of transportation in India. Called an auto. He put me in an auto. So he carried me, he rushed me to the hospital. He was actually God sent, the way the things happened that day was quite... it was almost unbelievable. So he rushed me to the hospital. While on our way to the hospital, I noticed, I thought the whole of this part was damaged. All of this, if you see this line over here, all this was damaged. The whole of this place was damaged. So there's a big hole over here, and this jaw was broken, and under here, an iron got into my neck. Some round piece of metal, it got into my neck. I didn't even notice this until when I saw the pictures. I only felt the punch it was like a punch, like someone punched me, and that was what I felt like. I didn't know that I felt like something was wrong around this area. My jaw was broken, like it got broken. I sustained a broken jaw. So I will rush to the first hospital. The people at the hospital, Kailash Hospital, they said it was a very, very critical situation and they didn't know what they could do. They couldn't handle the situation. So on our way there, the people who had rushed to the site of the accident, had called my friend Philip and told him I had had an accident, and he as well was in disbelief because he wasn't around, he was out of the city. Just before he got on the plane to come back, he had spoken to me, so he was not quite sure if they were talking about me. So they told him I'd been rushed to Kailash Hospital. So he called some other friends of ours and they rushed to Kailash as well to come and attend to the situation. While there, the doctors had said it was a very critical situation and they weren't sure they were going to be able to handle it, but that they were going to see what they were going to do. At Kailash Hospital, they tied like bandages all over. They had put in gauze like in the mouth to try to prevent the bleeding because I lost a lot of blood. I had lost a lot of blood. I lost almost 2.5 liters of blood. So while lying down there in the hospital in so much pain, I didn't even really know what to think of. I didn't really know what to think of, and for a moment it was like I wasn't thinking anymore. It's like I had no thoughts or anything, like I was just blank, lying there, but conscious. I didn't know what was going on. I only saw movements. I could hear sounds, but not quite what people were saying, though they were close to me, but it was like I was not present, but present. I don't know how to explain that, but that's how it felt. That's how it felt. So when those my friends came to Kailash and the doctors told them that they couldn't handle the situation, Philip called and told them and requested them to transport me to another hospital, a private hospital, JP Hospital. At that hospital, he was like an agent, a medical tourism agent for that hospital. So he helps patients to get like the best medical care at JP, international patients. So when I was rushed to JP, I was put in an emergency ward, and the emergency doctors came and they were looking at the situation. At that time, I could hear what people were saying. I heard them saying it was a critical situation and that I would need they'll need to rush me to the OT immediately without following all the necessary procedures that had to be done before I got into the OT. So they had called a doctor who was going to take care of me that night, who was going to handle the operation that night, Dr. Saurabh Gupta. He is a cosmetic surgeon. So they called him that night and he came to the hospital. And I thank God because God found favor. He saved me from a very terrible situation. I really cannot put this in words, but I thank God for my life, because everything that happened, God made a way. He made it possible. So the first surgery was done, and the piece of metal that I got into my neck was removed. It was removed, and the doctors had said like there were some damages to the major blood vessels in my neck that were transporting blood to my brain, and that blood wasn't reaching my brain anymore. And if they had begun the procedure even 10 minutes late, I wouldn't have survived. That's what the doctor told me, and that I should always keep giving thanks to God, because he was not even quite sure what he was doing. That the day he came to the hospital and saw me lying down there, he didn't even know what to do. Like, it was beyond him, and something just pushed him, and he said, let them rush me to the OT. The hospital had told him that they needed to follow some of the hospital policies, run some tests and everything before I got into the OT. And he said that they were going to ignore all that they needed to rush me immediately. So the hospital told him that if anything had happened in the OT, it would be on him, and he accepted to do so. And then he rushed me, and they had the surgery. The surgery was very, very successful. This was closed. Had like plastic surgery was done, because this was totally destroyed, so it was being stitched up, closed, and my neck as well. Was stitched up. After that, after I was removed from the OT, I saw a lot of things. I'm making this video because I made a promise to God that I wanted my testimony to be global, because I believe that someone who hears of this, they will be rekindled, their faith will be rekindled, and they'll keep trusting God. I know situations may seem unbearable, and sometimes we all may feel like just giving up, and that maybe our prayers are not being answered, maybe that there is no God or anything. But I'd just like to put this out there. God does exist. And he said that no challenges will ever come our way that we won't be able to handle. That alone should be your strength. That alone should be your strength. All experiences are personal, that I know, but I believe there are some things we can relate to. I've been in the hospital for 2 surgeries ever since the accident. The first surgery was to close this because it was open, and to remove the piece of metal. Right now there is a pipe somewhere here, or you can even see this. There's a pipe somewhere in here in my neck that now acts as a connector between the blood vessels that transport blood to my brain. The second surgery was the mandibular reconstruction. During this accident, a lot of things happened, but I really just want to thank God. Some of these things I can't put them in words because I really do not know how to explain. When this accident happened, my tongue was cut, like at the back of my tongue it was cut. They had to stitch my tongue as well. I had to stitch my tongue. I lost some dentition. I lost 4 teeth on this side of the jaw. So the second surgery was mandibular reconstruction. They had to reconstruct the jaw. So that too was another thing to deal with. Getting into the operation theater, it's not an easy thing. It's not a good thing. I don't want to say it, but I was on life support, I was put on a ventilator. The experience it's so, I don't know how to put it. I really don't know how to put it. Some of these things I can't even say them from my end because I really lack the words. And I want to put it just the way it is, or just the way I felt it, or just the way I've seen it. So the mandibular reconstruction was done. A bone graft was taken from my left leg. They had to remove some bone from my leg to reconstruct a new jaw. So I think this is 2 months after the reconstruction. No, this is the 3rd month after the reconstruction of the jaw, and I look fine and I feel fine. I want to thank God. I've been postponing this testimony for a very long time, but I just woke up this morning and I decided to do it. Because it's just something that has to be done. And if you're watching this, or if you ever get to see this, keep trusting in God for your miracle, because mine came through Him, and He's the only one who ever grants us miracles, and no one else. He's the only one who is capable of doing things like this. If you look over here, I think you would see some maybe some yellow stuff. I think there's still an opening over here where the graft was done. So the bone was cut from my leg to put in my jaw, and I'll be going back to the hospital maybe sometime in August or September for a dental surgery, dental implants. For those 2 months, my mouth was closed. I couldn't talk and I couldn't eat anything. I was on pure liquid, so they had done a procedure called IMF. So they put some screws and wires all over my mouth, like to close the mouth and adjust the bite. So my mouth was closed for 2 months and some days. At that time I was only on liquids. So for those who are looking for weight loss programs, you should try that. Maybe you should try go to the hospital and ask them to do an IMF. Just kidding though, but it made me lose a lot of weight. I did lose a lot of weight. For those who have seen me before, those who know me, yeah, and everybody was shocked that people didn't even recognize me. But what I want you all to take from this is that whatever situation you find yourself in, no matter how bad you think it is, no matter how difficult, no matter how trying, and no matter how impossible it may seem to be, God will always make a way for you if you keep believing in Him, if you keep trusting in Him. I have always prayed for the grace of God in my life. All my prayers always ended with the grace of God upon my life. And it's His grace that has kept me up till now. This is an experience for me that I'll always cherish. I don't feel bad. I don't have any regrets that this happened to me, because there are things that happen. There are people who get into this. There are people who have got into accidents like this, or even lesser, and have not made it. But I thank God for my life. What kept me going was the amount of people that turned up for me. My friends who reached out to support me through my recovery. My classmates from Baptist High School Boya Class 07. I want to give a shout out to them. I thank them so much. I want to give a shout out to my family as well. My family, for the support, their love, the prayers. There are a lot of people who turned out to me, who turned up for me, who prayed, who went into fasting, just so that I could be on my feet. And when I saw this, I understood that God has a plan for me. And whether it is clear to me or not, it is going to unfold the way He wants it to unfold. So I just have to be part of the process. I do not have to fight it. He had already shown me, but I went about it how I felt I should go about it. I wasn't going about it in His will, but this was just like a reality check for me. This is an experience, like I said, I'll always cherish, because the people who turned up for me, even people who did not know me, went down on their knees and prayed for me, just to see me on my feet again. Here I am on my feet, saying thanks to everyone who throughout this period have been praying, have been reaching out to support me morally, financially, and in prayers, emotionally. I thank you all. This is a debt that I wouldn't be able to repay you. It means a lot to me. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for praying for me. Thank you for interceding on my behalf. Thank you, Lord, for everything. Thank you, Lord, for my life. Thank you, Lord, for the endless protection. And I pray that God will continue to bless you all. God will continue to protect you all as well. God will continue to guide you all. And His grace will always be sufficient for you all. This is my testimony. Thank you, and stay blessed.